Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Clovis City Commission. We'll begin tonight with a word of prayer, and immediately after the prayer, we will honor our flags. Please pray with me. Dear God in heaven, thank you for the blessings you give us each day. Thank you for the wonderful community that you've called us all to live, work, and serve in. And thank you for the opportunity to discuss the city's business this evening. We pray for wisdom as we do so. And God, we ask for your hand of protection, your hand of blessing over our city. And we pray for health and prosperity and general success for all of our citizens. And I ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in honoring our country's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendships among united cultures. Our meeting is called to order. Ms. Reyes, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Casals?
Here.
Commissioner Porter?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Garza?
Here.
Commissioner Rowley?
Here.
Commissioner Paula?
Here.
Mayor Morris?
Here. Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Appreciate that. Next is approval of the agenda. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, we need to remove item 10 from within the consent agenda. So we'll have 11 items there. Unless there are any other changes, I would assume your approval unless there are objections. Hearing and seeing none, with the one amendment, that being the removal of item 10 in the consent, we will adopt tonight's agenda and the clerk will record a yes vote for each of the commission members. We'll have 11 items there. Unless there are any other, we're just going to start over and do that again. Okay, I think we have the IT bug worked out. We have approved the agenda once again, and we need a yes vote recorded for each of the commission members on that one. Next is approval of the minutes. We have the Thursday, July 7th minutes in your packet. Unless there are any objections, we will adopt those minutes. Hearing and seeing no objections, the minutes of the July 7th meeting have been adopted, and the clerk will record a yes vote for each of the commission members. Next is recognition of visitors. We'd like to welcome each of you that are joining us in the commission chamber this evening. We appreciate your interest in what your city government is doing this evening, and we look forward to hearing from you when we reach the point in tonight's agenda that you are here for. Nothing to deal with under presentations this evening, so we'll move on to receipts of petitions and communications. And I would like to take the liberty to introduce some folks that are new to our community, new friends, and that would be Lieutenant David Chateau and Lieutenant Diane Chateau. They're a husband and wife team and the new leaders and the folks in charge at the Salvation Army here in Clovis. And so we wanted to welcome you. And in welcoming you, I'll put you on the spot. You're welcome to come and address the commission if you like and just say hello and tell us a little about yourself.
Well, thank you for the warm welcome.
Yeah, thank you, and we're very glad to be here, and very glad to meet people in the community and the leaders in the community.
Yes, ma'am.
We arrived on June 30th, and we've been meeting a lot of people over the past few weeks, and we had the opportunity to meet Mayor Mike Morris yesterday, and Helen, we see her just about every second day, various activities. But we are just overwhelmed with the loving people here in this community. And we come from the Bay Area. They have a lot of wealth and a lot of prosperity and a lot of natural beauty. but I mean, the people here are just so overwhelmingly wonderful. We really can't express it right now. In our
It
official,
seems to me like you guys have the Spirit of God behind you, so
Thank you.
that's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
thing.
I would like to say that, welcome everybody in the community over to the Salvation Army on August the 27th. We're going to have our first community open house and give you an opportunity to meet us in person and see our facilities and get to know us. So thank you for inviting us tonight.
You bet. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, I stopped by the Salvation Army yesterday, and we had a nice 10 or 15-minute visit, and getting acquainted, and welcomed them here, and they made the comments similar to what they did this evening with regard to how welcoming and how loving the community or the people of the community have been, and I asked them where they came from, and it's Marin County, is that right? So the Bay Area. You got forests, you've got an ocean right there, you got all this beauty, mountains in the area and all this. And so I told them that, when the Creator was creating this area, rather than, putting the beauty that he could have in the landscapes and given us mountains and rivers and forests and all those things, instead he put that beauty in the hearts of the people that live here. And then I warned them that they're going to be hooked. They're not going to want to leave. So again, welcome, and appreciate your service in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll continue with receipts of petitions and communications. I may put Ms. Burrows, our Assistant City Manager, on the spot for this one, but we would like to announce an event at the zoo, September 24th from 8 a.m. to noon, and it's all about cleaning up the zoo, and we're even looking for volunteers and sponsors. Is that right?
That's correct. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. Good evening. As you know, we have a new and dynamic zoo director, Damien, who is really pushing things forward at the zoo. And so there's lots of things that needs doing, of course, when you're making changes and improvements. And so we'd like to invite the community to come out in a similar fashion to what we do with Trek for Trash and the Great American Cleanup to help, with painting projects, gardening, all sorts of zoo-related activities on Saturday the 24th from 8 until noon. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for that. And while this is the first announcement to the public on that event, the city will no doubt push out info on social media, perhaps press release, those kinds of things, and be sure that info gets out to the public. But those of you hearing it tonight can begin making plans. Also wanted to mention committee and board vacancies. We have two boards where there are vacancies. One is Civil Aviation Board, and another is Lodgers Tax Advisory Board. I invite the public to consider getting involved in helping shape the future of our community by serving on city boards and committees. Those are two vacancies that are currently open, but there are 13 different committees and boards at the city that citizens have the opportunity to serve on, and I invite you to do that. These two vacancies have a deadline for applications of July 29th at 5 p.m., and you can get more information and submit your application through the city manager's office. Wanted to also mention that we are obviously a community that is interested in supporting our law enforcement, and as of late, I feel like it's important that we push out information that the public has the opportunity to report tips, report crimes, those kinds of things anonymously, should you choose to do so. There's a handful of ways to do that. One, there's an app, Tip 411. You can also send a text message to 847411. And then at the police department's website, which is police.cityofclovis.org, you have the ability to submit a tip through there as well. And these are options that you have if you want to report or provide information anonymously, but obviously dialing 911 in the event of an emergency is appropriate. And then there's the non-emergency dispatch line at the PD, which is 575-769-1921. Had at least one high-profile event as of late within the last week, in which there was a dreadful amount of time that passed from when an incident occurred to when it was called in and reported to the police department. And then I've had the opportunity lately to hear from a concerned citizen who wanted to report a crime and wanted to do that anonymously. And so I just thought it would be important to put that info out to the public. We are still in receipts of petitions and communications, so this is the point in the agenda when if you're here and you just want to bring something before the commission, you're welcome to do so at this time. Yeah, come on forward, Mr. Arias. We need your address and your name stated for the record, and then we'd love to hear
Okay.
what you have to say.
My name is Carlos Arias. I reside in District 3. And as y'all know, I'm sorry, I'm reading from the sheet here. I'm terrible at public speaking.
That's
so
all right. That's all right. You gave us your name. We need your address for the record, and then take your time and share with us what you'd like
I'm
to.
205 MLK. So as y'all may or may not know, I started a recall petition. And the reason why is I believe the tax increase, I think you guys are finishing up voting on it tonight, should be on the property tax. I believe it should be decided on by the voters. I also believe the city of Clovis needs to review its budget and search for cuts prior to reaching into the taxpayer's pocket. The vote on this tax has in my mind already been decided. I don't know what you guys are finishing up with tonight, and I'm pretty sure what the outcome's gonna be. It's probably gonna go through. It's almost a foregone conclusion. The city has, in my opinion, been pretty loose with the taxpayer's dollar, and while the Ute pipeline is a worthy cause, you know, the memory of a $4 million lipstick factory and golf course is still pretty fresh in a lot of our minds. I think I speak for a lot of your constituents when I say let us vote on this tax increase. And also, let's see if the city's willing to make some cuts. See if you guys can find some more money in y'all's budget to help mitigate what the taxpayer's gonna be doing, so. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
Appreciate you. Anyone else from the public wish to bring something before the commission this evening? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, as you know, this item is placed on the agenda so that you can deal with those routine agenda items with one motion. If any proposal does not meet with the approval of all commission members, or if a citizen so requests, that item will be heard when reached under the regular agenda. You have 11 items on the consent. The first is the motion to place. The 11th is the motion to approve or acknowledge. I'll read 2 through 10. 2, request for approval to award ITB 22-0309-02 Hillcrest Senior Center to EPX. Item 3, request for approval to enter into a lease agreement with the Transportation Security Administration. Item 4, request for approval of an utility easement with Xcel Energy in the northwest corner of the Clovis Regional Landfill. Item 5, request for approval of maintenance agreement drainage with the New Mexico Department of Transportation. Item 6, request for approval of water line extension agreement with Epcor. Item 7, request for approval of State of New Mexico Department of Transportation Fund 93100 Capital Appropriation Project Agreement. Item 8, request for approval of maintenance agreement signal and intersection lighting with the New Mexico Department of Transportation. Item 9, request for approval to apply for and accept, if awarded, the FY23 New Mexico Fire Protection Grant to purchase a new Type 3 wildland vehicle. Item 10, request for approval of lodger's tax quarterly disbursements for July 2022. That is your consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to place the indicated items on the consent agenda by unanimous vote.
Make a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion to place the items on the consent agenda came from Commissioner David Bryant. The second came from Commissioner Garza. Commissioners, please vote. Is the voting system down? Again, we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Ms. Reyes, could you call the roll for this vote, please?
Commissioner Bryant?
Yes.
Commissioner Casals,
Yes.
Commissioner Porter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant,
Yes.
Commissioner Garza,
Yes.
Commissioner Rowley,
Yes.
Commissioner Paula,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Thank you. The vote is unanimous, and the items have been placed on the consent agenda. I would now entertain a motion to approve or acknowledge all items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Paula, second from Commissioner Garza. Ms. Reyes, could we have a roll call, please?
We can vote.
Oh,
There it is.
we're going to let them vote using the voting system. Please vote.
Back in business.
And the vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you. Next is introduction and adoption of resolutions and ordinances. Here we have one item this evening. It is request for approval of adoption of ordinance number 2173-2022, amending the dedication of a municipal gross receipts tax. Morris, our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. So the rededication of any municipal gross receipts tax requires a municipal ordinance to accomplish that. This ordinance, as you know, was introduced on June 16th of this year. It does not increase the GRT, but it rededicates 0.25% that in January of 1981 was dedicated to police and fire. It rededicates that 0.25% to the general fund, and as we all know, the purpose of that is to serve as collateral and payment for the $15 million loan and intercept agreement with the New Mexico Finance Authority that we have. So that loan, of course, will be used to service our obligation to the Water Utility Authority. And again, the rededication will service that debt and provide collateral. So it's my understanding that the New Mexico Finance Authority paperwork hasn't been completed on their end, and so that's not up for vote this evening, but that ordinance will come back in the near future. And with that, I'd stand for any questions, Mayor.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate that. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, pretty straightforward explanation on that. We will still have one piece to deal with in the future as those loan documents are prepared, but tonight before you is the final adoption of the rededication of that gross receipts tax, as Mr. Morris explained. Any questions or comments?
If I may, Mayor, I forgot to mention, this will become effective January 1st of 2023, if passed. So,
Thank you. Effective January 1st. Questions or comments?
Make a motion that we approve it?
Okay. Motion for approval from Commissioner Jones.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Porter. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance number 2173-2022. Commissioners, please vote. And by a vote of 7 in favor and 1 opposed, the motion is carried. Thank you. Nothing to deal with under unfinished business this evening, so we're on to new business, where we have 5 items. The first is request for approval of Epcor's request for the city of Clovis to act as an applicant for an Inmed drinking water revolving loan fund pre-application. And to advise and share with us on this evening, we have Mr. Mark Huerta from Epcor. And we'll welcome you, and forgive me, I forget, you've got a promotion lately, so what is your title with Epcor?
Operations Manager.
Operations Manager with Epcor, Mr. Mark Huerta. The floor is yours, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners, we at Epcor have been looking at the potential of accessing water rights within the Highland Dairy. There's a good group of wells that we believe to be good producing wells that are within the Paleo Channel that are also close to existing infrastructure. So the conceptual plan that we put together would be to bring a number of those wells into a central water treatment facility where we would remove the levels of PFAS and then deliver that into our existing infrastructure and then on into town for municipal use. So as part of that, we became aware of some funding that could be available through the New Mexico Environmental Department's revolving loan fund for emerging contaminants. So the funding that we're seeking now is for a feasibility study to look at our conceptual plan and then to, you know, just take it to the next level. So as part of that, there's a pre-application that needs to be submitted that simply puts it onto the list of projects that NMED would then review and the Drinking Water Bureau would review and then make a decision on if it's a project that fits the criteria and if it's something that they think is worthy of you know, moving forward with. In having these conversations, we were able to get a visit with one of the NMED staff, and at the time of that call, they were very encouraging. They thought it would be good to have a project like this on the list because as of that time, there currently wasn't one, and it would really show the need for this type of project in our state. So that's the proposal that we have is we're not able to directly apply for it, so that's why we're asking the city to act as an applicant for this pre-application. It's not committing to anything. It's a one-page, about 10 questions, just a simple thing to get the ball rolling. And then, of course, there would be additional information that would be asked for once they start that review process. So that's currently what we have on the table to ask for the city to do for us.
Thank you, Mr. Huerta. Appreciate the explanation. There may be some questions, but I just wanted to mention, you know, how much I've come to really value and appreciate Epcor and the fact that Epcor and all of its resources and expertise is our water utility provider. And so, you know, it's in that partnership that if you're asking for it, I tend to want to support you on that. And thank you for bringing that before us this evening. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, what questions or concerns may you have?
Mayor, I don't have any questions, but Mark's good explanation. And this came up to water policy, excuse me, and it was recommended to the city commission as well. And so I think this is a great opportunity for us to be able to treat this water and get it into our water supply. So I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion for approval from Mayor Pro Tem Bryant, second from Commissioner Casals. Any further debate? Hearing and seeing none, what is before you is the approval of Epcor's request related to the pre-application to Inmed. Commissioners, please vote. And the vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you, Mr. Huerta.
Thank you. I appreciate your consideration and cooperation in this.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you, Mark.
Next is item 2 under new business. It is request for approval of Colonial Park Golf Course proposed 2022 guest rates. Is Mr. Acut here? Mr. Acut's joining us virtually. Mr. Acut, if you can hear us, we'll give you the floor, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can.
So we wanted to come and talk about rates. We had brought this to the Parks and Rec. And as far as the Colonial Park rates, do you guys have the flyers in front of you that we sent over?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right, perfect. So as far as the standard 18-hole round played, we wanted to look at increasing some of the rates. The golf course is it's in good condition. These guys are working really hard out here, continuing to make improvements on the golf course on a daily basis. As far as an 18-hole rate, we were looking at increasing the rate from $15 to $20 on Monday through Friday, and then a weekend rate of a $5 increase from $20 to $25. In doing so, we would like to try to encourage people to come out throughout the golf day. As a lot of us know, we go out there and play golf, and there's a lot of golfers with a small period of time out there playing golf. We'd like to introduce a Twilight Race, and that rate is from 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m., and that round during the week is $17 and then $22. And then we also have a Super Twilight, which, again, just encourages people to come out and play golf 4 o'clock or later. You know, in the summer, obviously, you can take a little more advantage of that, but it's a reduced rate at $15 and $17. A 9-hole replay, which is, let's say you went out and played 18 holes and you'd like to go out and just play on the 9 holes. It's a flat $10. There's no cart included in that. It just allows you to get out there and play to the 9 holes and, you know, and enjoy the round. Our cart fees have stayed flat. We were looking at keeping an 18-hole round at $17 and a 9-hole round at $8.50, and that's currently what we are at right now. Being in a military town, we would really like to incentivize the military to come out and play our golf course. We think, again, these guys have been doing a fantastic job of course conditions. We'd like to offer a discount, senior or military at that point, to come out and get a reduced rate Monday through Friday at $17, and obviously on the weekend to get a $22 rate to come out plus cart and enjoy some golf. Overall, when we look at memberships, we've stayed pretty steady as far as rates have gone. We didn't want to bump the membership too much, but we did want to have some stipulations. And as far as a single membership goes, when you look at the membership packages, just raising that a little bit from $850 to $900 on a single annual, the 12-month membership for $900. When you look at the family memberships, that went from $1,250 to $1,300. We have two different packages for our seniors, and when you look at the senior or the senior couple, the senior play anytime is an $800 membership. That allows you to play any day you want, holidays, weekends, Monday to Friday, no matter what time you'd like to. Now, if you're a senior and you don't play on weekends or during prime time, with prime time we consider 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can get a membership for $600, and that still allows you to play unlimited between Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays, Sundays, or holidays, it allows you to tee off before 8 a.m. or after 2 p.m. We also have that same benefit for a senior couple, and that's, you know, 2 members living in the same household, allows you to go out and play whenever you want for $1,100, and no restrictions on those tee times. Or you can play Monday through Friday, or before 8 or after 2 on Saturdays and Sundays or holidays for $800. We've had a lot of members requesting discount cart, trail fees, things like that. They own their own carts, realizing that we still have to pay for a fleet so we can run our tournaments and for our everyday business. But we'd like to give some incentives for those members that are currently members with us here at the golf course to get a discount. 9 holes, they would pay $750, and for 18 holes, they would pay $15. With those memberships, we wanted to, again, incentivize people to come into the golf course, be a member of Colonial Park Golf Course. You would get a 10% discount on all apparel, clubs, clothes, golf balls, clubs, the whole 9 yards. Again, that would be tied into your membership. There's no extra cost for that. It would just allot you, if you're a member of Colonial Park Golf Course, you get that extra discount when you're spending in our pro shop. We also would like to look at a super senior discount. This is 85 and above, and that discount that we've kind of put into this flyer and looking at our rates is a 10% discount off your membership. So super senior, if you're by yourself, you want to play anytime, you would take 10% off of the $800. Or if you wanted that Monday through Friday and before 8 or after 2, we would take 10% off of that $600 membership that you have there. Also, some things we would like to do is kind of protect our prime time, which again, when I say prime time, that's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays and holidays. We are going to look at requiring a credit card, and that's just a credit card reservation. You're putting your credit card down to book your tee time, whether you're saying you're bringing a foursome or a twosome, and we don't want to get to the point where we're going to charge for no-shows, but we do have a slight problem of people booking more than what they allot and or not showing up for their tee time during our prime time. And so as a business, we look at it as a whole. We're going to try to protect those prime time spots between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. So we are going to require that you give us a credit card. If you do not show there could be a $15 no-show fee per tee time, per position on the tee time. That being said, we do not want to charge those fees. We'd just like everybody to give us a call 24 hours in advance and cancel those tee times if they're not going to show up. I think at that point, that's all I had as far as what we're looking at as far as our rate. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Will do. Thank you, Mr. Alcutt. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, what questions or discussion is there on this item?
Mayor?
Yep.
I was part of this committee that brought this forward. I'd like to take the super senior and possibly take that to 20%. We don't have that many super seniors at play in the first place. Most of those folks will play during the weekdays, but that would be my only recommendation as far as a change.
Okay. Thanks for that. Other comments?
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, and a couple of the other items that we discussed at the Parks and Recreation Committee were proposing, there was a 6-month membership or a punch card that we allowed. They're talking about eliminating the punch card, as well as we had range passes, which basically gave you unlimited supply of range balls. Talking about eliminating that, and then we'll create a range card that you can purchase, but that's per bucket. It will give bulk purchase discounts to it, but those are a couple other changes that were also discussed at the Parks and Rec, if you have any questions regarding that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve with the change for the super seniors to be changed to 20% instead of 10.
Okay, motion for approval with the change recommended by Commissioner Jones for the super senior 20% discount. That motion coming from Commissioner David Bryant.
I can't wait to get to the super senior so I can get that 20%. So I second the motion.
Mr. Garza, you're not that far away.
Break it up, break it up. All right, the motion for
Big time.
approval came from Commissioner David Bryant, second from Commissioner Garza, who's nowhere near the super senior.
Thank you, Mayor.
yet.
Thank you, Mayor.
Unless there's any further debate, commissioners, please vote. The vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you. Once again, thank you, Mr. Alcutt. Appreciate you joining this evening. Thanks for the good job that you and your team are doing out at the golf course.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners.
So we're on to item 3 under new business, and it is request for approval of memorandum of understanding with Clovis Economic Development, and to advise our city attorney, Mr. Jared Morris.
Thank you, Mayor. So the city has an agreement for professional services with CED, Clovis Economic Development, formerly CIDC, as we all know. And it covers a lot of areas of economic development, but one area in particular is the marketing and promotion of our industrial park. And so it came to our attention that most, if not all, of the prospective purchasers and lessors that CED deals with would like to remain anonymous as long as possible. Of course, any sale or lease requires commission approval and public hearing, et cetera. So it can't be sold or leased on of our property without a hearing and an ordinance passed. But they would like to try and remain anonymous while they work out some of the logistics behind the purchase and get collateral together and funding and financing. So what an option agreement does is it allows them to contract with us to hold a piece of property for a certain period of time. We can't sell it without giving them the option to purchase it at a price that we received an offer for, or a higher price. And during that time, they'll do what they need to do to get the purchase ready to go. CED would act as our agent to execute these option agreements, which would means it wouldn't have to go to the commission, and it wouldn't be subject to the Inspection of Public Records Act up until the purchase was consummated. And so the option agreement, we've done a couple of them or had some come through and propose to us, but we really need to get an MOU with CED in place before we can legally do that. It's my understanding maybe about 15, 20 years ago we had a similar MOU, but it was expired. And so this brief 1- or 2-page MOU just gives them the authority to sign these option agreements with our express written permission, but never to sell or lease the land without our permission, obviously. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions or give further explanation.
Yeah, thanks for that explanation, for bringing this item before us this evening. could be an important tool in the process as CED works with economic development projects. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Casals. Second,
Mr. Jones.
Commissioner Jones had the second on that, unless there's any further debate. Hearing and seeing none, Commissioners, please vote. And the vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you. We'll look at item 4 now, which is request for approval to appoint a voting delegate and alternate for the 2022 New Mexico Municipal League Annual Conference. Ms. Burrows?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. The 2022 New Mexico Municipal League Annual Conference will be held in Albuquerque at the Convention Center between August the 31st and September the 2nd. And a voting delegate and an alternate from the Clovis City Commission who will be attending the conference is needed to vote on the resolutions and business committee meetings, please.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, what is your will?
I think this is a difficult decision here, but I would like to appoint Mayor Morris and Mayor Pro Tem Bryant.
I second.
Are you willing to do that?
Sure.
You agree to that? Okay.
It's very difficult, I'm sorry.
Well, the motion has been made by Commissioner Garza to appoint myself as the voting delegate and Mayor Pro Tem Bryant as the alternate. And there was a second from Commissioner Casals. Any further debate? Hearing and seeing none, Commissioners, please vote. And the vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you. Fifth item, last item under new business this evening is request for approval to begin the 2022 revenue review process. Ms. Burrows?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. The City Code calls for the Revenue Review Committee to meet every 2 years. In your packets, you have the information regarding the powers and duties of that committee, which is to research and review and complete studies needed to perform an evaluation of the revenue sources of the city, looking at and evaluating existing tax resources, including but not limited to gross receipts tax and ad valorem property tax, to determine existing utilization of tax revenues and future needs, and so on. And we have spoken with the department directors and asked them to compile their recommendations for revenue adjustments for their various departments to bring to the Revenue Review Committee as part of this process. We are seeking, the City Code calls for the committee to be to consist of one city commissioner from each commission district, one resident of the city from each commission district who has expressed an interest and willingness to review and evaluate the financial status and revenue productivity of the city. The citizen members shall be broadly representative of all segments of the community and shall include persons who are known for their professional competence and experience in financial matters. The city manager and the city finance director would serve on the committee, and then department directors of the city administration shall serve in an ex officio capacity to provide background input and supporting materials to assist in the review and evaluation. And one of the city commissioners shall be elected by the membership as chairman. So if we could begin this process, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, that we would look to maybe start to meet later on in the month of August. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burrows. Appreciate that. So voting to begin the process is simply that. We don't have to have these commissioners choose which will serve and those kinds of things tonight.
It's entirely at the discretion of yourselves and the commission this evening, Mayor, if they would like to, if they're ready to, and if not, we can defer to another meeting.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, what is your will?
Mayor, myself and Commissioner Paula have had a discussion that she's willing to serve as on that committee.
Way to
for
lead.
District 4.
Way to
Thank
lead.
for choosing tonight.
Way to lead out on that. Thank you. Thank you, District 4. All right, District 3, how about you? Do you have a selection for who will serve on revenue review?
I can do it if it's all right.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, Come on.
That'll be fine.
Flip a coin?
You want to flip a coin?
Are you giving it
Yes.
to your counterpart? Commissioner David Bryant will serve for, or representing District 3. How about District 2? Who will serve?
Well, I drew the short straw, and looks like I'll be serving for District 2.
Okay, well, I don't think it's the short straw.
I'm kidding.
Commissioner Porter will serve from District 2. District 1?
You did it last year?
What's that?
You did it last time, or?
No, I
you haven't done it.
I haven't done it yet.
I did, I told you about it, but we haven't got to that point. You want to go on a putting contest, or
I'll
are you
take it if you
willing
want
to
me
do
to.
that? I think I'll lose if we do that, so. Are you comfortable with
Yeah,
it?
I am.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
so Commissioner Jones will represent District 1. Okay, so that having been established, now we know the commissioners, and I think we could vote to begin this process, and then that first meeting could take place in August, as you suggested, Ms. Burrows.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. And then if anyone in the audience or the viewing public would like, we'll advertise those citizen members of the commission would like to talk with folk that they know in their community that they think would be good people to attend. That would be great. Thank you.
Good.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So I would look for a motion for approval to begin the revenue review process, appointing Commissioner Paula, Commissioner David Bryant, Commissioner Jones, and Commissioner Porter to represent the commission districts on the review committee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Jones, second from Mayor Pro Tem Bryant. Commissioners, please vote. And the vote's unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you, and sincerely thank you to each of you for your willingness to serve on revenue review. And we look forward to the citizens that will serve there as well. We are on to reports of boards, officers, and committees, where first we have a monthly investment report from Ms. Melanson. Ms. Melanson, our Finance Director.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. This is the last one for the fiscal year of 2022. So we started the month with $59.2 million, ending at $58.8 million. A quick summary of some of our funds: General Fund 1, ending cash $8 million. Solid Waste Fund 2, $2.8 million. Our Wastewater Fund 10, $4.4 million. Our Economic Development Gross Receipts Fund 64, $4.1 million. Our Water Quarter Percent Fund 66, $6.3 million. And our American Rescue Plan Fund 94, $4.7 million. Our cash is split between local banks of $33.4 million, state pool at $25.3 million. Our interest for the month was $15,000. Our interest for the year was just under $65,000. Our state pool increased interest from 0.5880 to 0.9016. And for gross receipts, we were up 10% over last year for the month, up 6% from 2 years ago. And we did have another potential House Bill 6 change in our gross receipts reporting from a manufacturing company that had about a $1.3 million decrease in gross receipts eligible, which is about a $43,000 decrease for the city. Our activity for industries was increased 2,347 reporters, of which 1,074 of them were in the retail sector. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that. Are there any questions? Doesn't appear that there are. Thank you for that report, Ms. Melanson. Appreciate you. Thank you. Next, we have a report on Water Policy Advisory Board meeting that took place on Monday, July 11th.
Thank you, Mayor. We discussed Epcor's request and approved that tonight. We also received updates from Epcor. We received updates from the city, and also Orlando Ortega with the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority. I did want to mention the groundbreaking event for the water line to the airport, which will be on Monday, August the 8th. And since we're meeting quarterly, since water policy is meeting quarterly, the next meeting will be on October the 10th.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that, and as well as the reminder that you're now doing quarterly meetings. Thank you. Any questions on the water policy meeting? Very well. Lodgers Tax Advisory Board met on Tuesday, July 12th. Commissioner Garza?
Mr. Mayor, I was not able to attend the meeting, but I will
okay.
be trying to give a little report. We had a total request for $162,000, and we recommended, or the board recommended, $67,000. We have on the main request is for the Curry County Fair, which is recommended $20,000, which, given the circumstances, it's not enough money to promote and advertise for an event that is going to bring a lot of people into the community. But it is what it is, and I think we're going to have a lot of activities going on with this little money that was available. So we're looking forward to have these events coming into the community.
Great. Thank you for that. Appreciate the report on Lodgers Tax and your service there. Senior Services Committee met on Thursday, July 14th. I'm on Senior Services, so I'll report. We didn't have any action items, but did get an update on the art in public places from our Senior Services Director, Barbara Riggin. This is the art that will go in the new senior center that's being built. And so while I don't have details or the pictures to show you here this evening, I'll just tell you that the art was very much in keeping with New Mexico and the Southwest and so forth, including I believe it's a 5-foot long horny toad sculpture that will be really nice, and lots of other beautiful pieces of art. And then the Senior Services Committee is always a great meeting because then we get reports from each of the senior centers, of course the cities, but also Baxter Curran, La Casa. We usually get a report on Curry Resident Senior Meals Association. They, in June, provided nearly 5,000 meals, both in the dining area and then also to homebound residents in our community. So they're doing a wonderful work over at Charisma. The pilot transportation program is underway, and this is a program that provides transportation between Clovis and Portales for medical reasons. Senior Services is meeting every other month, so I encourage you to track the next meeting if you like, and that's my report. So next, how about a report on Parks, Recreation, and Beautification Committee, which met on Monday, July 18th.
Absolutely, Mayor. We are beginning the process of prioritization of improvements for equipment and maintenance at Potter Park, Ryerson Park, and Green Acres Park. The city is looking for nominations for the Summer Yard of the Month for residential homes as well as businesses, and I believe you can find the nomination form on the city's website. We discussed the shooting range. It is ready to go, but the management organization that was going to manage the shooting range is no longer able or willing to do so. So city is in contact with New Mexico Game and Fish to find other solutions for opening up the shooting range, which everyone is excited for. We are also announced the Truck for Trash that will be held this fall on Saturday, October 15th at 8 a.m. So get your teams ready.
Sounds good. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Commissioner Paula. Lastly, listed here as a report on the Finance Committee meeting, which took place yesterday, but I will spare you. There were no action items, and it was largely the report that you just heard from our Finance Director, Ms. Melanson. Okay. Future agenda items. Ms. Burrows?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. We will be bringing the Infrastructure and Capital Improvement Plan resolution to you, the ICIP. The fiscal agent request from Food Bank for capital outlay. The Food Bank has sent us a letter asking for us to be the fiscal agent. The hazard mitigation plan resolution that's being worked on by emergency management will be on the next agenda. The behavioral health feasibility study, which is being conducted with various counties and other entities. There's a resolution which will be coming to you guys for action, will be on the next agenda. The airport advertising fee rate will be on the agenda for the airport, together with an MOU with TSA on the next agenda. The loan agreement with the New Mexico Finance Authority, the T-Mobile grant that we tabled this evening will be on there, and we're also still looking for a Public Works District 2 vacancy to fill that position. Thank you. That's
Great.
what I have at the moment.
Great, thanks for mentioning the Public Works. That's the Public Works Committee vacancy. So that's in addition to the Civil Aviation Board and the Lodgers Tax Board that I mentioned earlier. Thank you. That sounds like we'll have quite a bit at the next meeting, Commissioners.
Mayor,
Please plan to.
I would like to add one more thing to that. I would like to see the final report on the Mirador Apartments as to what's happening. I don't see no action there for months, years now. And I got a report the other day when the wind was blowing really bad, there was glass flying because the windows are all broken. So we need to figure out once and for all what's going to happen to that place. And I would like a report on retail strategies.
And Commissioner Casals, I see Darren back here. We have visited with the property owner, so Darren, if you don't mind, he can give you a quick update.
Yeah,
of
well, I
what's been
hear that
happening.
report every time, but I don't ever see any action. So it's time that we do something.
It's definitely been challenging.
Yes.
Mr. Roach, thank you.
You bet, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. We did speak to the owner of the Mirador. They had secured a local contractor to make sure the bottom floor stayed secured and to clean up all the weeds and trash and everything all around it. They also asked them for a quote to remodel the entire thing. The quote went from $600,000-ish in mid-May to now, it is now $2 million for them to remodel it. So they are seeking a local contractor to give them another quote. They've got another guy that's taking care of the weeds. There is one window in the back that continues to get pulled off. He goes by once a week and screws that metal back on. So that's where we're at on that. We're waiting for him to find another contractor to see if something happens.
So this might be years.
It could possibly.
Can we put a timeline on them, I mean, as far as a time limit as to securing that property or
I think we
having
did
us
that
just
3
take care
years
of it
ago.
ourselves?
Well, it's been secured, the bottom except for that, there's one spot back there that's very accessible and you can't see it, so vagrants, homeless, they'll take that one window apart, or the one screening. But the guy that they've got hired is a local guy, and he is going by once a week to put screws back in it.
Okay. What about the top section?
We have never discussed the top section.
Okay, it's probably as bad as the bottom,
It's
if
all
not
bad.
worse.
Every bit of it looks the same, top and bottom.
It is an eyesore, and I get a weekly complaint. Matter of fact, I got a complaint from a lady that lives on 19th Street that has a swimming pool in her backyard, and she said that there's men that go to the top floor and will throw rocks at her pool, or if the children are in the pool, they'll laugh at them, and it is a nuisance, and it seems like we've been going through this for probably 5 years now.
Correct.
I think we do need to give them a time limit as to what they're going to do.
Correct. The problem is, as far as tearing it down, we can't because it's still structurally sound.
Well, it seems like we could do something with all the broken windows and the glass flying when the wind blows, and
Correct.
to me, I think it's a safety issue.
And myself, I'd just like to see the entire facility secured, top and bottom. I know they get in from the alley, back there, and that's a problem area.
Correct.
So I don't know what we can do about that, but I have to agree with Commissioner Casales. It's definitely a problem area.
And Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, we can get with the property owner and request that they secure that upper floor as well, that it's no longer acceptable to only secure the lower floor, that we're still having folks get in. And since they can get into the building, they're obviously still doing damage from those upper floors. So we'll reach back out to the property owner again and request that they secure the upper floors as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Roach.
Mr. Roach.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, announcement of date, time, and place of city board and commission meetings. The Clovis-Carver Library Board will meet at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, July 25th, here in this room. The Public Works Committee will meet at 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, July 27th, here in this room. The ICIP public meeting will be held at 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, July 27th, here in the North Annex. We'll hold a special city commission meeting at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 28th, here in this room. The Civil Aviation Board will meet at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, August 2nd. And our next regular city commission meeting will be at 5:15 on Thursday, August 4th, here in the North Annex. Thank you. We are adjourned.